Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Wisconsin MMA Today. I'm Scott Joffe, and I'm joined by co-host Wisconsin Combat Sports' Paul Fladten.
Begin.
We'll be back on Wisconsin MMA Today.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Roufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch the fights with the fighters.
I'm lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, along with MMA trainer Roufus. And come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Roufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch all MMA action on two 15-foot mega screens.
I'm MMA coach Roufus, along with lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis. Come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Visit us at tiffinmats.com.
Thanks for watching Wisconsin MMA Today. Scott Joffe here along with my co-host, Wisconsin Combat Sports' Paul Fladten. This next bout's a very special one. Took place at Milwaukee's Potawatomi Bingo Casino. It was November 2011, and we're going to show you a bout from NAFC Unleashed. Paul, tell the viewers a little bit about what they're going to see.
Oh, an amazing featherweight battle between Rick Glenn and Jose Pacheco. It's a good one.
Coming up next on Wisconsin MMA Today.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout is scheduled for 3 rounds in the North American Fighting Championship Featherweight Division. Introducing first, this man, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands in at 5'6" tall. He weighed in at 146 pounds. He's a freestyle fighter who in 5 professional bouts has 4 victories. He hails from right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and represents Serrano Combat. Ladies and gentlemen, Jose Pacheco. His opponent, this man, standing across the cage and fighting out of the red corner. He's a freestyle fighter who in 8 bouts has 6 victories. He stands in at 6 feet tall, weighed in at 145 pounds. He represents Roufusport and hails from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Gladiator Glenn.
You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today. Scott Joffe here along with Wisconsin Combat Sports' Paul Fladten. You're watching a special featherweight matchup from November 2011's NAFC Unleashed. Fighting out of the blue corner, representing Adrian Serrano's Combat Academy, Jose Pacheco taking on Roufusport's Rick the Gladiator Glenn, fighting out of the red corner. Early first round action of this featherweight pro matchup.
This is going to be a great fight. The fans should be excited, right? Jose lands a great Superman there early, but This is a fight against Rick Glennon. This is one of the better up-and-coming fighters in the country right now. Fights out of Roufusport. A guy that came over here from Iowa, much like Eric Koch, kind of like Biggie Rhodes, and a guy that's really excelled since coming to Milwaukee. And this is going to be a treat for fight fans to watch because this is a name to keep your eye on in the future.
Definitely. You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today, produced in partnership with the Wisconsin Army National Guard and powered by Concede, sponsored by Showtime Sports Bar and Tiffin Mats. Again, first round featherweight action from NAFC Unleashed from Milwaukee's Potawatomi Bingo Casino. That is Rick Glenn out of Roufusport in Milwaukee in the red corner. You can see by the tape around the fighter's wrists. And representing Adrian Serrano's Combat Academy is Jose Pacheco out of the blue corner.
Yeah, and over like that last 30, 45 seconds there, you really saw what makes Rick Glenn so dangerous. He's able to, he's not slow, but he's methodical. He has pinpoint accuracy with those strikes, especially those left kicks. He can put those things high, he can put them low. It's just a very dangerous weapon to have in your back pocket. And it was a great job to set the tone here with those left kicks and really show Pacheco, who likes to get takedowns, that it's not going to happen. You have to, he's going to keep him on the outside, and Glenn's really going to be able to control and dictate the pace of this fight.
Yeah, Glenn is definitely a fighter that you don't see get rattled. And I have to say the same about Pacheco. He does battle a lot of tough fighters. He's never one to back down from a fight, featured on NAFC fights quite often, as are many of Adrian Serrano's fighters.
Yeah, I totally agree. Jose really, you see him with Adrian all the time, really embodies a lot of the same stuff that Adrian grew up in the sport with, the toughness and just desire. He's a guy that in Wisconsin Combat Sports, we've given him Submission of the Year, he's been a Rookie of the Year candidate, a guy that's really fought around the scene and really has shown what he has and is really proven. A lot of people, he kind of looks a little shorter when he comes out there, but he's a tough fighter, great ground game, and this was a tough matchup for him against Rick Glenn.
Oh, I always know when you see Jose Pacheco on the Bout lineup for that night, you're going to see fireworks, and so far so good here. First round featherweight action, NAFC Unleashed from Milwaukee's Potawatomi Bingo Casino, featured on Wisconsin MMA Today. Again, Scott Joffe here along with Wisconsin Combat Sports' Paul Fladten.
Oh, I love those two body kicks that he did that really hurt, and then he went with the upper left, the left high kick, and then goes for a switch kick. Rick Glenn's dangerous, man. He doesn't, people think, they see Roufusport and they think Anthony Pettis, they think Eric Koch, Chico Camus, but this is a guy that's around their weight class, has been able to train with them, pick up a lot of skills, and he's got striking that, is going to surprise a lot of people when he gets on the upper level. So it's very exciting to watch Rick Glenn here.
Rick Glenn is definitely a driven fighter, as is Jose Pacheco. Glenn here now with the Race Efu's World Series of Fighting.
Yeah,
a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a big news. It's definitely his biggest. He fought on the Score Fighting Series up in Canada a couple times. Did great against Tristan Johnson, Lyndon Whitlock. Looks great. Stole the show with a couple kicks. That he did, one off the ground. That was just, you have to see it to believe it. I would YouTube that, people. And he's just a guy that's really on the up and up. And now he has a chance to fight in the World Series of Fighting, and he's gonna surprise a lot of people, I think. I've never seen him in a bad position. He always like you said, he just keeps his head on his shoulders, and he's got all the tools to go far in the sport.
Actually, after this fight, Glenn rattles off 3 TKO victories as he earns a spot in the World Series of Fighting.
Yeah, all against name opponents. I mean, not UFC guys. Sharon Spain he put off on your guys' NAFC card, who was a Strikeforce veteran. Just guys that really are tough and people that are big wins on a career, especially. That's the reason you fight on the local scene, to put wins against big guys and get into the major leagues. So that's a great job by Rick Glenn. Good matchmaking by Duke and all the guys over there at Roufusport, and just good job promoting his career the way it's gone.
Yeah, shout out to NAFC matchmaker Mike Camp, putting together a great bout lineup here.
Yep, and as we talked about earlier on the show, this was the fight card of the year in 2011, so Mike earned his money on that card.
This fight is one of the reasons why. Again, look at both fighters' faces. Very cool, calm, collected as Glenn puts Pacheco down with a...
Yeah, that was a strange one. Pacheco went for the kick, kind of landed, but Glenn's strength and his ability to maintain his feet pushed him to the ground and ended that round.
As round one comes to a close, we'll be back after a word from our partners and sponsors.
We'll be back on Wisconsin MMA Today.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Roufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch the fights with the fighters.
I'm lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, along with MMA trainer Roufus. And come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Roufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch all MMA action on two 15-foot mega screens.
I'm MMA coach Roufus, along with lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis. Come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Tiffin. Visit us at tiffinmats.com.
Again, welcome back to Wisconsin MMA Today. Scott Joffe here along with Wisconsin Combat Sports Paul Fladten. You're watching a special featherweight matchup featuring out of the blue corner, Jose Pacheco representing Adrian Serrano's Combat Academy, and fighting out of the red corner is Rick the Gladiator again, Glenn representing Milwaukee's Roufusport Academy. Second round action. Take it away, Paul.
Early on, Glenn lands another straight left. I mean, it wasn't huge, but it set the tone again. Left kick to the body. Even though Jose was there, he expected it. You know, you can see his side. He's been eating those shots and paying for it, so he's going to do anything he can to stop those strikes. But Rick Glenn's he knows right where to hit, and I love his accuracy and good fighter.
See a little bit of abrasion below Pacheco's left eye there.
Yeah, he's been eating shots everywhere. You know, like everything on his left side, Rick is just attacked from head to toe. He's went everywhere, and there's just not much you can do when you can't get inside on a guy that's taller, and you just can't work your game on a guy that can punish you from the outside.
If there ever was a great matchup for Rick Glenn, it would be Jose Pacheco. He just keeps coming at you. He's extremely tough. Again, I'll say it over and over again, love having him fight on NAFC bouts.
Yeah, fought against a ton of tough guys, and he's fighting against one right here as he takes another straight left to the face.
Again, you're watching Wisconsin MMA Today. Follow us on YouTube at WIMMA Today TV. Great second round action here. Veteran referee Al Wiggins has his eye on everything.
Yeah, this southpaw stance must just be tough for guys, especially if they haven't seen it before. Because Rick comes out and just, you know, he goes for shots. They're all powerful, too. Even his jabs or just straight lefts are super powerful. There's just nothing. The inside leg kick there was a thing of beauty. There's just nothing. Ooh, front face. It's just so exciting to watch. It's hard to even commentate because he just switches it up with that left foot.
Your coach, Roufus, what are you thinking right now? Perfect pupil?
Absolutely. He's got everything you could want with Duke's credentials, and Rick is just coming in. You know, and what a great addition to the Roufusport team.
Rick does listen to his corner very well, responds quickly. Again, not to say Pacheco doesn't, but again, you'll see Glenn kind of, as the call comes from the corner, you know, his following quite well and when to throw the kicks and so on and so forth.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun to watch, too, because you can see with Rick lately in his career really taking to heart training with Ben Askren and getting his wrestling top game. You know, his ground game is great in terms of jiu-jitsu. You know, had some submissions early on. And now his striking is just phenomenal as he's using TKO after TKO to end fights. So, you know, he's the package.
Again, you're watching second round action. This is a featherweight matchup between Milwaukee's Jose Pacheco representing Adrian Serrano's Combat Academy out of the blue corner, and Roufusport's Rick Gladiator Glenn fighting out of the red corner, also from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
You know it's a tough fight when Jose Pacheco comes in a little slow on the intake, because he's a guy that likes to come forward all the time, continue to push. But you know, when he is in this fight alone, he's really eating leg kicks on the inside. He's eating with the body. He's eating head kicks. He's got now his right eye's got some swelling under it. So he's just been forced to play a role that he does not like to, which is kind of the counter puncher. That's not his type of game, so it's hard for him, and Rick just keeps eating him alive from the outside. Oh, what a jab.
Tear up Pacheco's face. Again, Rick Gladiator Glenn, red tape out of his wrist.
Yeah.
And Jose Pacheco fighting on the blue corner, Adrian Serrano's Combat Academy. Second round, featherweight action.
And that was a straight left. That was anything but a jab that I called it. That was a beautiful punch that landed on the right side of Jose's face.
Looks like Glenn is picking his shots at will here. Pacheco trying to keep up a good defense.
You know, I think that's what I like about Glenn the most, and what my favorite part of his ability is he doesn't come out and you just bull rush you. He waits and he picks the right shot to land these shots. And but the strikes, they're super powerful, and they don't have to come in a million miles an hour. You just have to wait to get the right one every 4 or 5 seconds.
Body kick landing on Pacheco, then a shot to the body from Glenn lands on Pacheco. He's relentless. Gladiator Glenn here in second round featherweight action on Wisconsin MMA Today.
Yeah, and you talk about changing levels, or you talk about, pinpointing different areas of the body throughout a fight, and that's exactly what this has been. Jose can't really count on it coming from anywhere, or any single direction or any single level, because Rick is changing everything and landing at will from any different spot, and it's a blast to watch that.
Very well-trained fighters right here, but again, Rick Gladiator Glenn seems to be having his way, picking his shots either to the face, to the body, or to the inside of the legs, or outside of the legs. He does like that inside leg shot. Here's a jumping left knee.
Yeah, both guys have heart, both guys have determination, but when it comes down to it, especially in the pro level, you see who's the better fighter and who's more equipped to win inside the cage. And Rick just has some tools that, Jose doesn't, especially when they match up one-on-one, and some of these shots are very powerful. What I will say, though, is he did a great job not to go down by Jose. He's fighting tough.
Extremely, extremely tough fight again. I'll say it many times over and over. Here we're watching Rick Gladiator Glenn with head coach Duke Roufus in his corner.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell there, Duke, it doesn't have to go and freak out. He's watching a guy come in and do exactly what they worked on in practice, do exactly what he's, asking him to do in the cage, and just fighting like a superstar, and I'm guessing that makes it pretty easy on a coach.
If you're Adrian Serrano, what are you telling your fighter right now, Jose Pacheco?
Knowing Jose, I think what he's going to try to tell him is you have to end this fight first and foremost. The only way you're going to win is if you end it. So with Jose, especially the way it's been going on the feet, it's not going to be a knockout unless it's one of those crazy things. That can happen, but more than likely, he's not expecting a knockout. You're hoping for a single leg, maybe put Rick Glenn in a bad position, find a choke, find an arm, just pray that it's going to fall your way once that fight hits the ground.
Ringside physician Carlos Feliciano taking a close look at Jose Pacheco's face, obviously his eyes, making sure he's okay to start the third round here. Again, fighting out of the blue corner, that is Adrian Serrano's fighter, Jose Pacheco, taking on Roufusport's Rick the Gladiator Glenn, fighting out of the red corner. Third round featherweight action about to begin. This was NAFC Unleashed. Here we go.
You could tell there was no part of Jose Pacheco that was coming out of that fight. He hardly even turned around to give the physician a look. So he's ready, and he fully believes he's gonna be able to come out here and pull off that Hail Mary submission that we were talking about.
When you hear the word gamer tossed around, Jose Pacheco definitely is a gamer. Rick the Gladiator Glenn looks unscathed for the most part.
Yeah, and Jose comes out with 3 kicks, definitely trying to go his own way, and also going back to the Superman, which he landed the very first punch of the fight. But other than that first punch, it's been just, hard luck for him kind of going throughout here.
Again, you're watching Wisconsin MMA Today. Scott Joffe here along with Wisconsin Combat Sports, Paul Fladten. This is third round action. These are 5-minute rounds, professional featherweight. Bout coming to you from Milwaukee's Potawatomi Bingo Casino. This was NAFC Unleashed from November 2011. Wisconsin MMA Today, of course, brought to you in partnership with the Wisconsin Army National Guard and powered by Concede, sponsored by Showtime Sports Bar and Tiffin Mats.
You're undersized in a fight when you throw a kick. Oh, that was a little different there. When you throw a kick and Rick Glenn just throws a left hand and the punch lands way before your kick ever gets there. So definitely the size and the height goes to Rick Glenn in this one, as you can tell.
Also, Rick Glenn looks like his conditioning is up to par, and Pacheco, he's moving forward. He looks tired, but he's, like I said, he's a gamer.
Yeah, and
And gamers don't give up.
Absolutely not. Good takedown with a good trip there. And then a great job just to throw a left elbow right away. What's the point of just holding this position right when you get down there? If you see an opening where you can throw that elbow, do it. It was great. Landed, and now you see Jose it hurt, so he grabbed his. He used his right arm to grab Glenn's left, and really maybe this is that Hail Mary we were talking about. Can he get it?
Sure, he's going to do right now. Try to pull the victory out of the third round.
You know, I think he's looking for anything. Get that leg around the neck. You know, definitely not in position. But when you're down, you go, and I think you'd look for any single thing you can do just to convince yourself, but, you know, also startle your opponent, but doesn't look like Rick Glenn's going to believe that in any fashion.
Again, be sure to follow Wisconsin MMA Today on YouTube at WIMMA Today TV and on Facebook and Twitter at WIMMA Today. You're watching featherweight action, NAFC Unleashed from Milwaukee's Potawatomi Bingo Casino. Cruising third round action. In control, Roufusport's Rick the Gladiator Glenn taking on Adrian Serrano's Jose Pacheco. He's on the receiving end of some Gladiator blows right there.
I love Glenn trying to trap that right arm with his left knee and then throwing the left strikes. That's a great job just to negate any right hand or any, you know, ability for Pacheco to defend himself. So once this fight hit the ground, you know, it also is 15 minutes almost in, so Glenn's, you know, is in the better position, but he's doing a great job in showing, you know, just another aspect of his game here.
He's still being very offensive. Glenn's not taking anything for granted, not taking this fight, looking at it as it's his, because he's not. He's still being very offensive here in late third round action.
Yeah, you know, coming into this fight, you know, the Duke and the guys told him, you know, what he's dangerous in is submissions, so you're going to have to be careful if that fight does go to the ground. But there's no hesitation. He knows he's not putting himself in any danger with any of these positions he's going in. So it's just a great job to take what's given to him, just like he does on the feet, and really, you know, land effective strikes throughout, score a ton of points from the judges, and punish your opponent in the process.
Bring it back on his feet, but Glenn is
No, the strength, like the timing, you know, just the cardio factor. It's Glenn's fight from this point on. It
body
seems.
shots, elbows, punches to the head.
Everything. There just hasn't been a spot that Pacheco hasn't taken abuse in this fight, and that's a testament to the ability and the coaching and also just the game planning for Rick Glenn. Big shots there.
Close eye on the action. Real Wickers.
Yeah, and if we can see all this stuff, the guy that sees it the most is referee Al Wickers, right in on it. And he knows Pacheco's taking a beating in some shots, but there really hasn't been any room to call it yet, especially in the in a professional matchup. So Al just, you know, watching, just making sure that nothing gets out of him, but Rick it looks like he's gonna let him up here. Good kicks. Oh, brutal.
He's not gonna get up.
You know, it's just he doesn't let you know what's going to happen. He just does a great job keeping you off balance in every aspect of this thing.
High kicks go.
Well, the high kicks were, I think, some of the best, but my favorite shots this whole fight are the lefts. Oh, great switch. The lefts to the body, because those are what softens him up. That's what softens opponents up. And Pacheco was a different fighter. Oh, what a shot to end that fight.
As that featherweight battle comes to a close.
We'll be back on Wisconsin MMA Today.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Roufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch the fights with the fighters.
I'm lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, along with MMA trainer Roufus. And come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Roufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch all MMA action on two 15-foot mega screens.
I'm MMA coach Roufus, along with lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis. Come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Tiffin. Visit us at tiffinmats.com.
Between Roufusport's Rick the Gladiator Glenn And there you see Adrian Serrano with his fighter Jose Pacheco. That was a featherweight battle.
All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, Rick Gladiator Glenn. Hey Rick, come on over here, buddy. Boy, you looked fantastic all 3 rounds. You really picked them apart on the feet. Didn't keep it on the ground for very long because you knew you had it. Was that really the game plan going in?
I was just ready to go wherever. Of course, I wanted to work on my stand-up, you know, at Roufusport now. My wife and I just moved to Milwaukee from Iowa, and it was tough, but, you know, it's the best thing we could have done to get better.
Well, you look fantastic, and you caught him a bunch of times. He's a tough guy. Were you a little disappointed you didn't finish him?
No, I just knew I needed to, you know, keep fighting, and I just had to listen to my cornermen, you know, Duke Roufus, and Scott Cushman, Aaron, Josie, Eric. There's a ton of other guys I'm not gonna remember to thank, but.
Well, I think we all could tell by tonight's fight that you have a fantastic future ahead of you. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause, Rick Glenn.
Hi, I'm Scott Cushman. I'm striking coach at Duke Roufus Academy. With me here is Mike Biggie Rhodes, one of our pro fighters, and we're here to demonstrate a defensive left hook. The key to being a good defensive fighter, striker, is your mobility. You have to be able to strike going backwards. So when you have somebody that's striking at you going backwards, you got to be able to move your feet with you. And notice as I move my feet out, I'm leaving my hands out. So when he misses, I'm using my hands. I don't have to use my hands for my defense. I use my feet. And as he misses, I counter over the top of his right hand. All right? So it's one more time. As he comes at me, I can parry, I slide away, both counter back over the right hand. The key is to take my feet with me and not use my upper body to move myself.
Thank you for watching Wisconsin MMA Today and supporting mixed martial arts in our community. I'm Scott Joffe.
I'm Paul Fladten.
And we'll see you next episode.